Good morning, everybody. Welcome to week 26. I'm going to quickly go over your assignments for this week. So, first thing you're going to see is two PowerPoints, one on the introduction to structural design and one on loads and load paths. So, these are fairly lengthy PowerPoints. Here's the deal. I think inside them you're going to find a lot of calculations. When it comes to the calculations, don't feel like you need to take notes on those. Sorry, not calculations, formulas. Don't feel like you need to take notes on those because I'm going to always give you the formula and you'll have access to it. Now, you might need to be able to recognize what formula gets used when because it's not going to have a definition or like a blurb telling you when you might use it, but that would be the only thing I'd write down. For formulas or dealing with formulas. Some other stuff is in here is pretty good. Like if you don't know the different types of forces, I recommend writing those down. For example, tension, compression, and shear force. If you don't know the difference between force and load, beams, trusses, arches, vaults, domes, design process. I'm not really worried about you guys writing that down because we have gone over that. You've gone over that at some point in your PLTW career. All right, so the last couple of slides are just on the design process. The last like 7 or 8 are on the design process, but write down anything that you deem is important for the first couple or for the first half. Really, I don't need you writing down the design process. For the second one, loads and load paths. Here's where you're gonna find some calculations in here. This one's a fairly lengthy one. I do want you to write down, for example, it might be a good idea to write down what each of these what's the word I'm looking for? What each of these mean. So if you see PS, what does that mean? If you see CS, what does that mean? Write that down. But I don't expect you to have to go in and write down, where is it? Where's the calculation? Anyway, you'll see it later on. But as you go through it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So like this is a calculation right here. So this, formula. Why do I keep saying calculation? This is a formula right here, and it helps you figure out the design snow load. Write down what they mean, but I don't expect you to memorize this calculation. I don't expect you to 100%, I don't expect you to write down the examples. They're a little hard to write down, especially if you can't get these pictures in. So don't worry about writing those down. However, you will be utilizing this PowerPoint while working on the worksheet this week. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to come back to this PowerPoint because your notes will probably not be sufficient enough. You will be utilizing the design snow load. This will probably be where some of you get a little tripped up. But yeah, that's the first thing. Just one set of notes for both of these PowerPoints will suffice. Just make sure you tell me where the one PowerPoint starts and where the other one starts. So there's that note check. Now you're going to see 4 documents that you'll be using inside of this activity. I have them all linked, but I wanted to give them to you here as well. So if I click inside this assignment, I've got to resubmit this so that you have access to it the way I want you to. But as you can see, I have a whole bunch of things linked in here. So in this activity, you'll be determining the design load for a roof of a high school in suburban Chicago. The enrollment is 2,500, so close to ours. And select an appropriate roof joist based on the loads transferred to the joist. So I've got, we're going back to the International Building Code. I've got some things linked here. Now, it doesn't link you directly to that section, but it links you to section 16, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, chapter 16, and you can scroll and find, so you can see it was talking about those dead load, weight of ice, so forth and so on. So you can find those specific sections they talk about. So 16, 08.2, 1604.5, 1607.1. Then all of those things, PowerPoints and documents from the from week 26 are linked in here as well. So you're going to be going through and you're going to be calculating the design loads for the roof and choose a steel roof deck to carry that load. You will then chase the loads of the roof beams, choose the loads, then chase the loads. I'll make sure that's right. Based on the uniform beam loading, you will then choose an open web steel joist that can carry the applied beam load. And so this is going to take some time. You're going to definitely need to have your PowerPoint open, and you're going to be revisiting some of these documents throughout the entire thing. Make sure you keep in mind the criteria, because you're going to have to come back to the criteria in order to answer some of the questions. It's not going to specifically state it in the question. You'll be like, where do I get this information? Come back up to the criteria. So the first thing is you're going to be calculating the snow load for a low sloped flat roof. And you're just going to be going through, and like I said in here, how to calculate snow load calculation. So you've got to figure out all these numbers before you can even start. So we'll be working through that. I want you guys to give this assignment a shot on your own before we go over it. We will go over the first question because then I think it has you determining a beam for your joists in the Keystone Library. So yes, select an appropriate type F roof deck and open web steel joist for the Keystone Library. Renovation, show all your work and record all your assumptions. So that is what I have you working on this week. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to ask me. I'm going to be going over this again. I'm going to be going over part of it on either Thursday or Friday, depending when I have you. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later and hope you have a great day.